Remember this statement. Human beings, by nature, don't search for truth. They search for the need to be right. That sentence essentially explains everything that is wrong with the world right now, and every single argument that happens, like, in human history. And I know because I've done it. Like, it is much easier to say that you know something and make something up that sounds like it should be right, as opposed to actually doing work and finding out if you're right or not. Now, the reason I'm saying this now is because I may have mentioned it before. One of my main pet peeves is not ignorance. Ignorance annoys me a little bit. But people being ignorant and spouting it as fact really pisses me off. I know it's surprising finding something that pisses me off, but still. I'm going to give you an example. I read this article quite a while ago. Let's have a look, see if I can find the date. 29th of August. German scientists prove there is life after death. Now, after reading the article, I can clarify, they don't prove that there is a life after death. What they essentially say is that with a very thorough, what's the word I'm looking for, trial, essentially, with accounts from people of different backgrounds, they have said that in near-death experiences, it is generally accepted that people say that they have walked into the light. Now, that's essentially all the information they give, and then they say that proves that there is life after death. You may realise that you're still confused. That's because you should be. They haven't given you any information. All that does is prove that our brains are still the most complex computers we have ever come across, ever. That's it. But what they've done, rather annoyingly, is added 1 and 1 together, got 2, and then decided that that must eventually lead on to like 108, somewhere down the line. It might do, if you make the right, if you like find the way there. But what you've done is gone from 1 plus 1 and jumped to 108. There's a process in the middle there that you haven't explained, you haven't justified, and yeah, it's a little bit biased around the fact that it's conveniently something, the walking towards the light, that is ingrained in our heads from birth, and we know from studies that a subconscious mind is very susceptible. Doesn't prove that there is a life after death. It just, like, take into account life flashing before your eyes. That's kind of a thing that's accepted now, and the reason that happens is because we know, well, we assume the reason that that happens is because it's your mind. It's usually when you're in a lot of danger and it's your mind racing through your memories trying to find a solution to the problem that you're in. Like, your mind flashes in front of your eyes and then you'll see something, or it will remind you of something that will help you in this situation, or that's the point of it. You're witnessing your entire life in the space of a couple of seconds. You would assume, there's a thing on my screen, you would assume that implies that the brain is a very powerful thing. You can have dreams. You can have dreams that last for like a day in the space of 2 hours. Why are these things generally accepted, but when it comes to near-death experiences, it goes completely out the window? I don't understand why people think that being near death means that your brain can't function in the same way that it would if it knows it's being threatened, or in a dream. All it does, all this entire study that I have up now is still annoying me with its face. All the study proves is that the brain's complex and we don't understand it yet. But what they've done is they've worded it in a very specific way, and I've just seen the tags as well. They've tagged, religion isn't mentioned here. It only says afterlife, and it only spouts the commonly believed thing that it's... Okay, they do mention religion. Just mention that there's a variety of religions. But I forgot my point. What was I talking about? I'm angry or something. Yeah, the way they've worded it is very irresponsible for people who are claiming to be scientists. You don't say that there is proof of something unless you prove it. Weirdly, the general consensus with science is that we say we know things to a certain point. Because there is always room for error, like when we thought we knew the world was flat and then it turned out it wasn't. Normally, when we say we've proved something, it's because we can prove it indefinitely and indisputably with the amount of knowledge that we have about science. This doesn't even go that far. It just says, there is proof. Here is something that is loosely linked to this. Enjoy. What was the thing? That was ages ago. There was a reason that I wanted to do this this video now. I don't know why I was questioning that, because I was looking at it 5 seconds ago. I just forgot that it was there. Somebody posted an article on Facebook saying that I'm going to find the specific wording. Physicists. Sorry, no, that's not one. Physicists are being forced to admit that the universe is a mental construction. One, after reading the article, they don't prove it indisputably. They just give us the foundation for this being a possibility. But people are saying, no, this is definitely a thing. In a branch of science that we still don't quite understand. It's all about quantum physics and quantum mechanics. Granted, I'm not a physicist. I only understand science at maybe an above basic level. But I've read the entire article. They don't give me any information here that would even claim that it's definite that the universe is a conscious thing. All it does is imply that whatever we think of as consciousness might have an effect on the outside world. I think the main source is about tests, well, for the sake of argument, test tube tests with chemicals react differently when someone's watching them, and it's been done enough to realise that there is a definite definite difference between the two. But again, what they've done is they've seen that there is a difference, and then immediately jumped to the conclusion that it is because of this and nothing else, as opposed to any of the other literally millions of things it could have been. And what really annoys me about this article is the choice of wording. Going back to what I said about human beings not wanting to search for truth but wanting to be right. The choice of wording for this article, physicists are being forced to admit that the universe is a mental construction. That is a very specific choice of wording used just to create conflict. Instead of saying, we found out something that is amazing, they are saying, we are better than these other branch of scientists because we have found this thing. If you watch my videos, it's not difficult to figure out that I much prefer science to anything else, because science actually has a habit of proving things as opposed to just claiming them. But now, yeah, to be fair, this website doesn't look like it's actually that backed up by... Considering, oh my god. This is the direct link. Galactic connection. The 4 things that are underneath it are UFO, that's a good start, ascension, conspiracy, and spirituality. So it's probably not an even slightly reliable source, but they have got sources from other places, blah, blah, blah. It just seems like... And these 2 things were not posted by people who I know to be intelligent about the subject. They were posted by people of a spiritual nature as more of just like, look at this. This is the thing that you sciencey people like. It's proof of my beliefs. And it's not. Really not. All it does is piss off people who are intelligent. And let's face it, the only reason you posted that is because you want yourself to be right. There is absolutely no way of knowing whether any of us are right. We just go based on the knowledge that we are able to prescribe to ourselves. Just because some people choose to ignore that branch of information, despite the fact that it is literally the reason for the amount of, like, it's the reason why humans have advanced so drastically over, like, just the last 100 years. Just because you choose to ignore that branch of information doesn't immediately make you right just because you're different. You know what? Sometimes the things that are mainstream for a reason. The reason that science is widely accepted to be the right course is because they can at least back it up. I don't have a problem with anyone of any religious nature or any spiritual nature, but don't use words like knowing and fact when it is literally just your opinion. I can't remember the purpose for making this video. I think I just needed to shout at something for a little while, and oh. Seriously, do this for me. If you get pissed off by anything that anyone says, note whether it is somebody trying to find truth, like perhaps by asking a question as opposed to posing what they're saying as fact, or whether they are just saying, this is how it works. And try to find out, just do it, and note whether they are being intelligent about it, or just trying to prove that they are right. I still can't get over the fact that people call science closed-minded, despite the fact that it is the only one out of the ones that I've mentioned that is willing to change its opinion. I mean, religion, you can pick and choose, essentially, which bits you want to keep, because very few people of a religious nature take the Bible literally. Very few. They can pick and choose what they want, but they still have to kind of stick to the Bible. That's the point. Spiritual people, I have never known a spiritual person change their mind about anything, unless it is changing their mind to spiritualism, and then everything they say is fact. The amount of horoscopes I see on my newsfeed is terrifying. Science is the only one that is willing to go, like, we fucked up, got it wrong, Earth's not flat anymore. Funny story, really. And then I'm like, I can't remember who it was. I can't even remember what the conversation was about. Somebody just told me that I need to be more open-minded. And that's probably the most angry I've ever been at any person, ever. Because I know that the majority of information I hold in my brain is completely fucking useless, because most of it is probably wrong. I think it was because I didn't want to smoke weed. I think that's what the argument was about. It was just like, I have trouble sleeping. So someone suggested that I take weed. And then I said no. And then someone else, who wasn't even involved in the conversation, told me to be more open-minded about things. Because, thinking about it, this person is probably the most closed-minded person I know. Have met twice over the last 2 weeks. It's the kind of person who uses open-minded as a way of saying, so when they say, be more open-minded, what they're actually saying is, believe what I believe because I'm not changing my mind no matter what you say. What was I talking about? I don't know what I'm saying anymore. That curtain's blue.